What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Macho Movie Madness.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Brandon, alongside me always, Andrew and Kenny. Today, we are talking about why we love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right, we are going to be talking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles today. Of course, not just as a whole, the original movie from 1990. And, guys, this is one of my favorite movies and one of the biggest movies of my childhood here.
Oh, yeah. This was a lot of fun. We did a versus, if you want to go back in the Wayback Machine, like a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And we put this up against Secret of the Ooze, which we all three at this table just agreed that we personally enjoyed more.
Yeah.
But this movie from 1990 just wiped the floor with that movie.
I know,
in
it
that
versus. I thought Secret of the Ooze was going to take it, and it did not. It's kind of interesting. A lot like most sequels to movies like this, things seem cleaner,
bigger, brighter,
more fun, cleaner. Even though it's kind of like Batman and Batman Returns. Batman Returns, for me growing up, and I think it's shifted back to the original now for me, but Batman Returns now is a lot cleaner. It's a cleaner made movie. It's a cleaner looking movie. There's a lot more going on, a little more budget probably.
Had to hide all those model shots in the original.
You didn't have to hide as much. This is just wide open. If you watch a Blu-ray transfer or 4K transfer, it looks really, really good. And where Batman, no matter what you watch, it's a little gritty. It's not fine tuned because it was the first one. Now the story is better, and everything around the first one is probably better than is Returns. Well, I can't say probably. It is. It's just but it just kicks that up a notch, and I think that's what happens with Secret of the Ooze. I think you got more of a budget. I think you got more going on. It's cleaner. Things are just better.
But more substance than the first one.
Exactly.
Brighter.
Yeah, exactly. I think you get attracted to that more so. And maybe it's a nostalgia thing, but I always liked Secret of the Ooze a lot better.
The Vanilla Ice was so hot at the time.
On
the top of the charts.
Right, for sure.
I love where he's like, hey, I think I got something.
Yeah, I got something. All of a sudden you turn into a 4-minute song. If only writing a song was that easy. Well, I mean, at least not for me. It's not. Again, you go back to the original and you're like, man, even though this was a little rough around the edges, it's gritty, it's not fine-tuned, it doesn't have better effects, it doesn't have good lighting. It is structurally better. Sound, its story is better.
Storytelling.
Acting's better. It's darker. It's not darker in a sense of lighting, just lighting. It's darker as in the story's
tone.
Yes.
Tone is darker.
Yeah.
It's more serious.
Yeah, right.
Tone to it.
Yeah. And I think that's the way it is in Batman Returns. I don't know, a lot of people say that Batman Returns was really dark is in tone. And I think in a way because of Penguin it was.
Oh yeah,
but I don't feel like it was any darker than the original, honestly, because the Joker was pretty damn dark.
Yes.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's not a topic of this.
But it is a good comparison.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you just really see how special this movie is. Do you want to talk about story real quick?
This is basically an origin story.
It is,
and. You got the Foot Clan, and they're taking all these wayward kids in, and April O'Neil's doing a news piece on them, and so she kind of gets caught up in this, and the Turtles, Raphael comes and saves her, and it's just basically them and the Foot Clan.
Yeah,
and they have that epic battle with Shredder on the rooftop in this one.
Yeah, there's crime waves are happening across the city, and April's trying to get to the bottom of it, and of course, the mayor doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And her boss is breathing down her neck. And so there's a little bit there's media involved, there's politics involved. And that's an interesting little subplot there. Why April would be involved. Dude, Shredder. Shredder's such a badass in both movies, especially in this movie.
Yes.
Taking out all 4 turtles at once.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic job with Shredder, I thought.
Dude, I will never, ever, ever forget his entrance in this movie. With that long shot of him walking into the long
and the drums.
shadow, the drums, the music. Oh my god, what an entrance!
Yeah,
entrance. What do we want to start? You want to start off with pros or cons, or how you want to?
Yeah, we'll go pros. Yeah, I just love the tone of this movie, really, more than anything else. It's so dark, and you get about 5 minutes in, you get that whole Humphrey Bogart scene with Raph, and him and Casey Jones in the park, which might be my favorite scene in the entire movie. Just the banter back and forth between.
I love
those
Casey
two.
Jones.
Yeah,
good character. Everybody's in this. That was the biggest bummer about him in 2 is not him not being in 2.
Yeah. And I tried to read up on that, and I couldn't find it then.
Just decide not to use them, I guess.
Because I mean, Kino's an okay sidekick in Secret of the Use, but nothing.
I actually really liked Kino.
Maybe there wasn't room for him.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah, right.
But,
I really liked Kino. I mean, not as much as Casey Jones. I really like that scene too a lot. I think there's so much emotion that goes in with between their relationship with Splinter, and once they abduct Splinter, and seeing their defeat and their anguish, is really special. And then obviously taking one of my favorite scenes, honestly, is actually them burning their apartment.
Oh yeah,
that whole attack was amazing.
Yeah. But you're talking about the relationship with Splinter. Something I noticed today when I watched it was that at the beginning, he keeps telling the Turtles, one day I'll be gone, before he gets captured. And later on, Mikey's waiting for the pizza to show up. And so Donnie's like, hey, what did you think about, Splinter, blah, 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 blah. And he changes the subject. He's like, Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't want to deal with it. And then later on, when they have that campfire scene, they meet him on like an astral level or whatever. Mikey's the one crying in that scene. So I like it. Gives it a little bit of an emotional core.
Yeah, it does. I really, really enjoy that. Yeah, this movie has got a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And Kevin Eastman, who wrote the Turtles, said this is and will always be the best adaptation of the Turtles, which is that's saying something.
I agree with him.
I do too. I really do too. I wish if only it would have been a few years newer and had a little more of a budget.
Mm-hmm.
You had a little bit more cleanness to it.
I still think it's better than
the bass.
Oh, the Michael Bay movies. They're terrible. They're terrible, dude.
Just the look.
Everything.
I prefer the look of the.
They look like defensive linemen.
The thing about all the Turtle stuff now, for the most part, is they keep redesigning them and they make them look more childish and more modern. That's more suitable to that modern style animation or look and the square bodies and square limbs and heads and just goofy shit. It always looks so.
And
dumb.
they took the single band around the eye
and made it
into a whole entire do-rag.
Yeah, and I always love that. I just like that classic look of the Turtles, But I mean, and I know everybody's got their own interpretations of things. Sometimes you just shouldn't do that shit. But I think everybody's trying to make money off of old IPs and do different things with them and make it more fun. And I think the more you do that, the more you lose the origin, the more the core of those characters and that story. And I think it's more about selling merch than it is, creating good stories out of something that's got pretty much. I mean, there's no end to a lot of these type of IPs, and I just feel like they get lost trying to sell video games and T-shirts and a bunch of other shit or cartoons. And I mean, I love video games and T-shirts, but I mean, I'm not quite the sucker as I used to be, where I want something that means something. I
don't know if you guys was into the action figures.
Oh, when I was a kid, yeah.
When I was a kid, yes. I probably had more Ninja Turtle action figures than I did G.I. Joes.
Yeah. I think Chris said he did too.
I had quite
a few. And I remember
the whole damn thing.
The first ones were designed like from the cartoon.
Yes.
So they were very cartoonish looking because that's what we had.
Yeah.
But when the movie came out, Foot Soldier was my favorite. I remember the first time I got the Foot Soldier from the movie. I probably didn't put that thing down for a month, dude.
Yeah,
I just loved the way that looked.
I mean, I guess they've always been there to sell. Always. Even still, like, I think the IP looked better then.
Yeah. The animatronics I love in this. They look better here than they do in even like the third one when they had more money. Mm-hmm. Just the lips and when they're talking. I like that.
I feel like they lost something in the third one.
Yeah.
To me, I think they did.
I love that the flexibility of the suit they were able to fight. I think they sped up the film just a little bit when they were fighting, but like they got him into something that they could actually throw kicks in And, unlike Batman, who couldn't turn his head and stuff, but, cause there's like so many things that could have gone wrong with trying to do Ninja Turtles, but I felt like they got that part right.
Did you really see that movement well when Casey's watching Raph?
Yeah.
On the roof.
Yeah, do all the
there?
moves. Yeah. Doing the angry fighting.
Before he gets
jumped.
That's a good shot.
That was a great scene.
And to think they shot this in North Carolina.
Really?
They got some establishing shots of New York. But and that might have been shot in New York, but a lot of this movie was shot in North Carolina, with, what do they call those? Just dressing around all the tops of the buildings.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
Wow, I'll be damned. Like a lot of movies at this time, they structured some of the story like they would an action movie, like an action hero, where they fall for a little bit, and they get defeated by the enemy, and then they have to retreat, and regroup, and you find a secluded area in the woods somewhere, and
get your mojo
back, and you go and you prepare and you go kick ass.
It's timeless.
It's timeless. It's a timeless formula that all of them do, and I love that. I love that about it. I do want to mention that the design of these guys and Shredder and all of them, the outfits amazing, the lighting was amazing, the music is incredible. I love the music in this movie.
Yeah,
incredible.
And no matter how many times I watch this movie, I want pizza.
Oh yeah, every time, dude.
Every time,
big slice of cheese pizza.
Yes.
And I don't like just cheese pizza, but I want a big cheese pizza.
Yeah.
That opening tune though in this movie. Yeah, I love that shit. Love that shit. It always goes back to that meme that I see where they zoom in on the turtle's face, and inside the mouth you see the guy's mouth. So I just got that shot in
when Donatello's laughing in the doorway,
and you see the guy's teeth. It gets me every time. And that's what struck. So go ahead. Sorry.
And his eyes. That's what they was looking at him.
Yeah. Seeing his eyes and you see his teeth. Oh God, it's the creepiest and funniest thing ever. Anyway, I thought
that was worth getting.
Just randomly thought, oh my God.
Yeah. One thing that I initially thought was a con in this movie was all the flashbacks to Splinter, with the puppet and everything. Yeah. But I actually think it's kind of smart how they shot it, because that's shot in like 8mm or something. It's not shot the same way as the rest of the movie, so it kind of gets rid of all the limitations that are put on puppets. And,
I get you.
Yeah, so that could be seen.
But it was cheesy as hell.
It was. Where he's mimicking his master's movements from his cage.
Well, it was. I was like, man, I feel like the ooze would have gave you the ability to grow and to have a speech and a brain and become self-aware. But I feel like as just a normal rodent in a master's cage, you wouldn't be able to understand or mimic your master. I feel like if you would have been exposed to that ooze beforehand, maybe you could have.
Yeah, you were a magical rat.
Yeah,
before the ooze.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like you were a magical rat before that, and then you were able to fully evolve with ooze. So that was a little bit odd to me, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's nitpicking.
Yeah.
The character Danny, he's really wooden. You needed that character to be the link between the Foot Clan's headquarters and the Turtles.
Yeah.
But and you can't really get on a child actor, but there wasn't a whole lot. He was pretty wooden to me.
He was supposed to be torn between and what his father wanted, and then how he didn't fit in, and he wanted some place where he'd be loved and fit in and not be, I guess his father's too hard on him. Hell, I don't know. They really didn't explain.
That's the problem.
I don't feel like there was enough there to explain why Danny should be this disgruntled with his father and feel so out of place in life. I mean, yeah, okay, so maybe you're a fucking nerd. I don't know. But even so, I don't know how you could be a nerd or just be kind of socially quiet or awkward and then want to go into a Foot Clan. You know what I mean? Like I can see like the guy who gets kicked out of school and he doesn't have parents, or he only got one parent, and instead of joining the gang, he joins this this Foot Clan, which is gang, but it's it's different.
Could have been the cigarettes said regular or menthol.
I don't. There's homeless kids, there's troubled kids, there's all kinds of these things, and I don't think they really gave us a good enough character in Danny to explain why he would want to be in that Foot Clan, or how he would hang. Maybe they could have found a way to he unintentionally got involved with them because he witnessed something, or I don't know, something, and then they were forcing him, like, we'll kill your dad if you don't do it. Could have been anything.
Yeah, there was no focus.
There was no real focus and no good backstory for Danny, and then his acting was wooden, like you said. I think having Danny as a character is fine to be that link. I just don't think that's I agree with you on that. Because his dad, while he was an asshole, was April's boss. Yeah. And but it wasn't that big of a damn deal, dude. I mean, come on.
Yeah. You saw how big of a pushover he was there at the end of the movie, where she's like, well, such and such makes more money than me, and I want to corner office. He's like, it's yours, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so right. I can't see him be a hard ass to Danny.
And Danny almost immediately regrets joining the fucking clan anyway, because he knows that it's wrong. He sees Splinter and he's like, oh well, I don't know. It's just weird. Yeah, it's just weird. But if you don't think about it too much, you can kind of look past it because you're more focused on what the turtles are doing anyway. Because it's the turtles, man. Yeah.
Speaking of that scene, though, the guy with the cigarettes, and then there at the end where he's telling the cops, "You'll find everything you need to know at the East Warehouse." That's Sam Rockwell.
It is.
Yeah, I watched the credits today. I'm like, I know that guy. Who was that's Sam Rockwell?
Yeah.
Very young.
Yeah,
very young Sam Rockwell. Yeah,
who I love.
Yeah, he's good in just about everything.
Oh yeah.
So, any more cons you can think of?
None that I can really think of.
No.
Yeah, I can't either. I think
those are the two kind of the biggest bugaboos.
Yeah, that Splinter being kind of a magical. There's just it is it's a little gritty and at times,
but I can always look past that.
I can look past it more so, especially more so now. Because everything else is just so good. Yeah. And I'm not such a stickler for that anymore if there's other redeemable enough qualities in a movie, and this is a super solid movie.
They got the turtles so right. They got the fighting right.
Right. Yeah. Which is incredible for their first time out.
Yeah.
And because you think about it, man, they haven't touched it since. You know, I think Secret of the Ooze kind of stepped it up a little bit. You know, it was a little weaker in story. And villains.
Yeah, they didn't let them fight with their weapons in that movie.
They did.
They're using sausages.
No,
and
it's
yo-yos.
It's almost like McDonald's got a hold of them before, kind of like they do with Batman, which is why Batman Forever turned out the way it did, and not because it was supposed to be Michael Keaton again. Yeah, so we'll have to talk about one of these days.
Yeah,
but anyway, I did also forget to mention before that this was directed by Steve Barron.
He had done music videos. He did Aha's Take on Me.
Yeah, which is cool.
Classic.
Yep, classic. And we didn't mention the budget either, I don't think. But the budget was $13.5 million for this movie, and made $202. Wow. Wild success.
Jackpot.
So while the critics didn't love this movie, for the most part,
who cares?
Exactly. And we got Secret of the Ooze out of it. Is there anything else that you want to talk about with this movie?
What would you guys rate this thing?
4.
Go 4.
I think with just the bugaboos we talked about, this stands the test of time for the most part. I mean, this is a really good, rock solid movie. It will. I agree with Eastman. It will probably always be more than likely the best adaptation of the Turtles. And it's every time I think of the Turtles, if it's not the '80s cartoon, it's this movie.
Yeah,
I can't think of the term. What is the? This is like the
apex.
The apex. Thank you. That's the word.
Yeah, I was thinking 3.5 to 4, but if you guys go 4, I'll go 4.
Yeah, so. It's easy 4. Why I do enjoy Ooze more, it's definitely lesser rated. This is a 4 star.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, they hit it so high, they'll never hit that again.
Let us know in the comments below what you think of this movie. If you like it as much as we do, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Talk about what we're going to do next.
We have not.
Okay, well, we will let people know eventually what we will do next. But be sure to stay tuned. That way you don't miss anything coming up in the future. Let us know what you think of the Turtles and even the Turtles franchise. We want to hear from you. We will be sure to comment back and talk with you guys. Until next time.
We're out of here.